Kyle Larson is staring down a wall that's 6 inches from his front tire. Not a curb. Not a rumble strip. Concrete. One mistake here, and his car turns into scrap metal on an active Navy base. 24 hours earlier, his face was placed on the cover of the newest NASCAR video game. Today, he was sent straight into a track engineered to expose his biggest weakness. And by the end of the session, the man who was supposed to own this circuit was left watching a dirt racer steal it right out from under him. This is the story of how Kyle Larson walked onto a track nobody in the Cup Series had ever driven, and turned it into his own personal statement, on the same day the so-called road course king was supposed to remind everyone exactly who runs street circuits in NASCAR. Welcome back to NASCAR Track Report. Before we get into what happened on that Navy base, we are closing in on 500 subscribers on this channel, and that milestone is genuinely close. If you are new here, hitting subscribe, dropping a like, and leaving a comment helps this channel keep producing breakdowns like this one. Your support is what actually decides whether more of this content gets made, so if you have not done it yet, now is a good time. Now, back to the track that nobody saw coming. The location itself was the first shock. Qualcomm Circuit, built inside Naval Base Coronado, stretching 3.4 miles with 16 turns. No driver in the field had ever raced on this layout before this weekend. It was not just new, it was sealed off, military property, a circuit that essentially functioned as a closed door built for one very specific kind of driver, a road course specialist. That specialist had a name everyone in the garage already knew. Shane Van Gisbergen has 7 Cup Series road course wins, sitting just 2 away from tying Jeff Gordon's all-time road course record. On a circuit this technical, this unfamiliar, and this punishing, the expectation inside the sport was simple: this was Van Gisbergen's track to dominate. For most of the practice session, that expectation held up. He was fastest on the board, lap after lap, right up until the moment that actually mattered. That is where the dramatic irony of this entire weekend lands hardest. On Thursday, Kyle Larson was announced as the cover athlete for the new NASCAR video game, the face of the sport, officially stamped. On Friday, he was sent into the one-track built to make an oval racer look ordinary against a road course master. Instead, in the closing minutes of a 50-minute practice session, with the track running at its fastest, Larson went out and posted a lap of 2 minutes and 16.58 seconds, beating Todd Gilliland by under 0.3 of a second. It was timed. It was patient. And it landed exactly when it would do the most damage to the leaderboard. Here is the part that makes it sting even more for Van Gisbergen. He was sitting at the top of the timing sheet right before his team made the call to bolt on a fresh set of tires for what was supposed to be his fastest, most decisive run of the session. That is precisely the window Larson used to take the top spot. The king had the speed sitting in his pocket. He simply never got the chance to cash it in before the session closed. So the question now hanging over the entire field is straightforward. Is this proof that Kyle Larson is simply the most complete driver in NASCAR right now, capable of walking into an unfamiliar road course and beating a specialist at his own game? Or did Van Gisbergen just get unlucky on the one circuit that was supposed to be his redemption tour? Neither answer is settled yet, and that tension carries straight into race day. But the single fastest lap of the session is not the full story. The numbers get more complicated the deeper you look. In single lap pace, the top 5 looked like this: Larson, Gilliland, Gibbs, rookie Connor Zilisch, and Carson Hocevar. But flip over to 5-lap average pace, the number that actually predicts race day performance over 75 laps, and the leaderboard changes entirely: Van Gisbergen, Hill, McDowell, Gibbs, and Gilliland. 2 completely different rankings, depending on whether you are measuring a single perfect lap or sustained race pace. The headline lap and the lap that wins on Sunday might not belong to the same driver at all. There is also a quieter detail that most fans completely missed. Austin Hill entered this weekend with extra laps already banked, after running in the lower division support races earlier in the schedule. While other Cup drivers were seeing this circuit for the very first time, Hill already had real laps under his belt on the same pavement. That experience shows up directly in his strong 5-lap average, and it is the kind of advantage that does not show up on a highlight reel, only in the data. While the speed battle played out at the front, the back half of the session turned into a genuine demolition derby. Austin Cindric spun. Brad Keselowski went nose first into the tire barrier. Jimmy Johnson pulled off a full 360-degree save, the kind of reaction that only comes from decades of instinct behind the wheel. And then there was Kevin Magnussen, making his Cup Series debut on a track he had never driven, in a car class he had never raced. He hit the wall twice in the session and still managed to finish 29th. According to drivers and officials at the track, this was supposedly the calmer of the weekend's sessions. The Truck Series and Xfinity Series sessions on the same layout were reportedly worse. If you are enjoying breakdowns like this, the kind that actually dig into the timing sheets instead of just repeating headlines, comment below and share this with another NASCAR fan, because that is exactly the kind of content we are building this channel around. If you enjoy real NASCAR breakdowns like this, you'll like what's coming next. The human cost of this circuit became even clearer through one specific story. Christopher Bell went into this practice session racing with a fractured wrist. Partway through, he was forced to hand his car over to a relief driver just so the team could keep banking practice laps. That single detail reframes everything else that happened on this circuit. This is not simply a fast, technical layout, it is a physically demanding one, and Sunday's race will ask drivers to sustain that punishment for dozens of laps longer than anything seen in practice. Shane Van Gisbergen has gone on record acknowledging that this layout might be one of the hardest he has ever raced on, a circuit where putting together a truly clean lap may be close to impossible given the walls, the surface, and the tight sequence of corners. Other drivers, including Keselowski, have pointed toward the possibility that Sunday's race could turn into less of a fight for the win and more of a fight just to keep a car in one piece for 75 laps. Those concerns are not abstract. They are based on a practice session that already produced multiple spins, 2 wall strikes for a debuting driver, and a 360-degree recovery from a veteran. So where does that leave things heading into the race? Kyle Larson walked away from Friday's practice with the single fastest lap on a circuit nobody had ever driven, on the same week he was named the face of the sport. Shane Van Gisbergen walked away with the better long-run pace, the experience advantage on technical road courses, and a session where his fastest potential lap never actually got the chance to count. Both of those facts are true at the same time, and neither one cancels the other out. What is clear is that Qualcomm circuit inside Naval Base Coronado is unlike anything this field has raced before, a 3.4-mile, 16-turn layout that punished nearly everyone who touched it, while still producing a clear gap between single-lap speed and sustained race pace. Larson has the headline number. Van Gisbergen has the long-run advantage and unfinished business. Hill has a quiet edge nobody is talking about. And somewhere in the middle of a fractured wrist, a 360-degree save, and a rookie running times against the sport's biggest names, Sunday is set up to decide who actually controls this track when it matters most. Drop a comment with who you think takes it on race day, and share this with someone who needs the real breakdown before Sunday. NASCAR Track Report will be back with the full race recap the moment the checkered